Am I the asshole for not letting my husband choose our kid's name? All right, this is interesting. Okay, when I was pregnant with our first child, my husband and I agreed that if we had a daughter, I I'll choose a name that he likes to, and if it's a boy, he'll choose. It ended up a girl, and I chose the name Natalia. My husband said that he loves the name, and we went with it. Now, a few weeks ago, we found out that this pregnancy is also a girl. I told him he could choose, and after a few days, he told me the name he decided on. But it's a similar name to a girl who bullied me in high school. That's hard. I asked him to choose something else, and so he did, and I didn't like it. This situation kept repeating itself until the due date came, and he hadn't decided anything. After I delivered, the nurse asked for the baby's name, and I told her that we don't know. My husband gave a few more ideas that I said no to. He got annoyed at me and said I'm disagreeing with all of his choices and that he had no objections to Natalia, which I feel like is unfair since he liked the name. It's not my fault. I don't like any of his choices. We got into a fight and I ended up yelling that I'm the one who had this child, so if we can't agree on a name, I'll name her something I like without asking him. Now he's pissed at me and I don't know if I overreacted. I just want my kid's name to be perfect. Am I the asshole? You're low key the asshole. Okay, only because you're not the asshole for the first reason, like that first name reminded you of your bully from high school. Totally understandable to be like, absolutely not. Like, we're not gonna be naming my kid so I can have I
could be triggered
and have PTSD about things that happened to me when I was younger. Totally. But the fact that he kept coming up with names and you didn't like it, that is very interesting. Because I'm like, why didn't you like brainstorm with him?
Yeah. Why does it have to be a solo endeavor?
Like, if he kept coming up with these names and you didn't like it, why you're like, okay, I don't really like that name. You could have like came up with some ideas, like what about a variation of this kind of name or this kind of name? Like, you didn't give any feedback. You're just like, I don't like them. No. Didn't give any kind of. There was no conversation. It was just like, no. And then you waited until the baby. You guys didn't have a conversation about it at all in more detail. And then the baby comes and you still don't have a name. You're kind of the asshole there.
She says she wants her kid's name to be perfect. That doesn't exist.
That does not exist.
And your kid may not like the name.
May not.
Your kid might change their name.
Yep. Might go by their middle name because they don't like the first name.
Yeah. So you don't really have any control over the perfection of the name.
No. And at that point, I'm like, just name whatever your. If you don't know, then I'm like, okay, then what's the husband's name and make it a female version of that name. Yeah. At that point, I'm like, you guys don't know. Well, we're gonna name it after the dad. Then she's gonna be a junior. Mm-hmm. Shit, who cares? Maybe his name is Robert, Roberta.
Right? Yeah.
like figure something out, and you can call the kid another name. A lot of people name their kid and then have a nickname for their kid. Anyway. Yeah. So it doesn't even really matter that much.
It doesn't have to be perfect. I think you're putting too much on this.
But I'm just like, you waited until the kid was born and y'all hadn't agreed on anything? That's wild. You had plenty of time.
Yeah.
Because you find out the sex of the baby, like 3 or 4 months in? Something like that. Yeah. Like really early. So you had months of conversation to be like brainstorming with him. And no, you just saying, no, I don't like your choices. No. Wow.
It's not your fault that you don't like any of his choices, but it is your responsibility to
communicate
and reach a agreement
and consensus together. Like at that point, you're like, okay, you have a conversation. You're like, okay, all these choices you're making, I'm sorry, I don't really like them. Can we come up with a decision together?
Yeah,
is that okay? Like, and then go from there. If he says yes or no, and it's like, okay, well, if it's no, then be like, okay, I want you to come to me with a list of names. Don't come to me with one name at a time. Come to me with a list of names that you like, and then I can cross out all the names I don't like, and we can decide.
She'd probably end up crossing out all of them. So maybe you guys should do this together. You should apologize for yelling, and I think that's a little
too much.
A little too much, but you could blame it on the hormones, but you should still apologize.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Let's
see what other people say. All right. Yeah, you're the asshole. There are no perfect names.
No.
It is pretty incredible that after you rejected the name of an old childhood nemesis, reasonable that every single name he suggested for months apparently was a no, and you still aren't sure if you're the asshole. If you wanted to have the whole exclusive say and last word on the name, you shouldn't have offered to let him pick it. No wonder he's pissed at you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. A lot of people are saying you're the asshole.
Yeah.
Yeah, you should have really apologized to your husband. Better make it a genuine apology because I'm sorry, all your name suggestions for our kids sucks. Or yeah, just saying like you should.
Yeah.
Should.
I want my kid's name to be perfect. No, you don't. You just want to be the one to name your kid because any name you choose is going to be 10 times better than your husband's suggestions and therefore will be perfect.
Yeah. You are a bit of the... Well, this is very significant. And most people think she's the asshole. Just give him a list of your top 20 favorite girls' names and let him choose that from that list. Yeah, that too. Yeah, like you come up with the list and have him choose then if it's that such a big deal. Yeah. Yep. Most people think you're the asshole. Did she respond back? Doesn't look like that.
No.
She probably saw that she was the asshole and it was like, oh, I'm not gonna respond to any of this. But yeah, pretty much what we said.
Yeah.
It's like there's no perfect baby name. You are the asshole for saying no to every name.
Yeah, just let him pick a name. That's fine.
It's fine. You pick the middle name. And then you can just call the girl by her middle name. And he calls her by her first name. Kids can have two names.
Yeah, they can.
It's fine.
Also, it's just a name. Get over it.
It's not that serious. It's really not that serious. But people make it very serious. And it really isn't. Okay, moving on. All right, next.
Do we have anyone in the room?
Is there anyone?